Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm happy to see you today here. And we are starting second awareness session for InnoBooster program. This is an acceleration program for startups from Eastern Europe, Central Europe, and Ukraine, sponsored by Visegrad Fund and actually provided by Wolf Summit, our partners, IC Corporate Accelerator, DEX Innovation Center, and Startup Campus Hungary. And today we have a session dedicated to Ukraine. And it's a crucial day today because it's marked almost 1 year as the war has started. So tomorrow is this bad kind of anniversary when Russian invasion started. Despite this 1 year, we really work hard. All of us keep working. We are here. You will meet today 5 Ukrainians, including me, who keep work. I am making this session start from the Kiev now, from co-working in Kiev. All my colleagues are here all over the world. Dmytro and Nataly, they know also here in Kiev, and I hope we will have meetup live. So it's really, really hard, but Ukrainian ecosystem proved that we can work even under such circumstances, and that Ukrainian founders are extremely resilient. But what more is important for startups all over the world, Ukraine has a lot to offer as ecosystem for international startups even during the war, because we have many cases when international startups, for instance, we can have cases when American startups come from America to test their products in Ukraine, drones, military tech, med tech, any other startup. So they are now here with us testing, and they make fundraising. And Ukraine is a market of 40 million people. It's a huge territory in Europe, and you have plenty of opportunities. If your startup somehow related to recovery, it's a huge market. If you related to emotional health, mental health, education, any agriculture, anything, they are welcome to Ukraine, and there will be a lot of opportunities. And even today, we have several offline real-life events in Ukrainian ecosystem dedicated to Ukrainian resilience. I hope probably we will later even join them. So this is crucial for you to see that it's not about relocating now, even if we have war, but we want to support Ukraine and come here and bring people here to Ukraine. So Ukraine is open for you, and I want you to know and to learn what it is about this market. One more thing I want to add is that according to Stanford research, Ukrainian ecosystem is the top 10 ecosystem in the world that produces founders of unicorns. And actually, in many famous products like WhatsApp, Grammarly, or whatever, you will find Ukrainian founder. Yeah. Many things supported because we have huge technical universities, because of quality of people, quality of intellectual labor force, and we want to keep it. And now we are doing those events in Metaverse for you, for startups, to make sure that we are still connected, despite that we are everywhere in the world. With this, I want to pass my first speech to the great speakers, the great leader of Ukrainian ecosystem, Nataly Veremeeva, director and founder and CEO of Tech Ukraine, who really gathers all the information, who tracks everything that happens, and she will make this beautiful introduction to Ukrainian ecosystem. Please follow her. Natalia, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so very much, Elena, for such an inspiring introduction. And I hope that everybody now is curious to know more about what Ukraine has to offer. Let me start with the general overview of Ukrainian tech. And then I know that other speakers will also follow with more opportunities for you. So generally, a couple of words first about Tech Ukraine. So Tech Ukraine, we're an NGO, and our focus is to help develop the Ukrainian tech ecosystem and unite them and help them to integrate in the global technological ecosystem for reaching the maximum synergy and development of tech sector on the global scale. So we were founded in 2019 and gathered some ideas from the expert strategy for IT sector for our Ministry of Economic Development and Trade, and inspired by a lot of different initiatives of Dutch ecosystem under the leadership of Ruben Nieuwenhuis. So we do a number of programs such as the portal techukraine.org, Changemaker community, provide matching services and consulting, and do some other projects. But enough about Tech Ukraine. Let's speak about Ukrainian tech sector. So first of all, I'm going to speak a bit about generally about what is the Ukrainian tech sector before the war and what are the current tendencies that we are seeing at this particular moment. So generally, Ukrainian tech ecosystem is characterized by a talent pool. It is characterized by also good conditions right now that our government is working on for the international tech companies to be more welcome in Ukraine. To register in Ukraine, to invest in Ukraine, and there are some specific government initiatives to make it happen. And the third one is, of course, we do have very talented innovation capacities, and quite a number of R&D centers are already open in Ukraine, and I hope that more companies are considering coming to Ukraine at the moment. So speaking about some general numbers, before the war, our country population was 42.5 million, with 240,000 tech talents in the IT sector, and the plans to increase this number to 450,000 tech talents by 2025. Of course, at the moment, the numbers slightly differ because we know that up to 10 million went abroad, but according to the last numbers, around 7 million came back, and some more people are considering to come back. But these figures are, of course, quite fluctuating because the conflict is still ongoing and we don't have the exact numbers yet. Speaking about the education, so we have 181 universities that possess tech faculties, 133 colleges, 28 tech schools, 22 courses educating tech talent throughout the country. And every year we have 23,000 qualified IT graduates graduating from the tech specialties, and 130,000 general engineering professionals annually. These figures with the beginning of invasion may be slightly changed, but still the education process is going on. In some cases it switched to online formats, but still it is up and running and active. Speaking about the rankings of Ukrainian tech ecosystem, again, also before the war, in different years, we were #1 in Eastern Europe by the number of outsourced developers. Our tech talents got #4 of International Math Olympiad rank, which means that we have quite good mathematical capacities. Then we have #8 best programmers by skill value, #6 programmers activity by top quarter, and #4 in technology globally according to Coursera's second edition of the Global Skills Index. We have quite favorable conditions for business, and probably if you already know, there is a Dear City initiative that started right at the before the invasion started, because Dear City was finally adopted as a law and as a special legal regime 2 weeks before the full-scale invasion of Russia. But despite this fact, just several days ago, we were celebrating the anniversary of Dear City, and it has for now 420, I think, residents already participating in Dear City. So this happened even despite the full-scale invasion. We still have this condition, like this special regime, like active and attractive both for Ukrainian and also international companies. And as you see on the slide, there is some specific taxation regime, there are some specific VC common tools, there are some guarantees on IP and business protection, simplified administration, and also some other benefits for companies that want to start or continue doing their business in Ukraine. Currently, Ukraine is in the top 30 ecosystems globally, according to Startup Ecosystem Rankings 2020 by Startup Blink, and still in the top 50 in 2021, despite the war. So we're still very resilient. We do have quite low cost of living, and we have quite favorable conditions for doing business in Ukraine because of the abundance of the human capital and also quite low rates on running a business, and this results in a booming number of different companies. We have service IT companies in Ukraine here, product companies, and also startups. Also speaking about the ecosystem, we have here incubators and acceleration. We have quite a number of different innovation parks, and Unit City is being one of the key ones because it's the biggest and it's the front runner, but still we have quite a number of different other co-working spaces and technoparks, 22 IT clusters, 7 associations, around 3,000 events, and even 3+ big tech events per year. Of course, in this year we had much less events, but still they happened, not only online but also offline happenings, including Lviv IT Arena, which was held offline in Lviv this year, which is quite an achievement for us. Speaking about the global outreach of Ukrainian tech, we can see that we have quite a number of successful stories. Of course, the most bright and vivid are the unicorns. We have here like the calculated 4 unicorns, Grammarly, GitLab, People AI, and BitFury. But in 2000 and in this year, like in the previous year, we had 2 more joining, and this was the Firefly Airspace and Genesis, as far like if I'm not mistaken. There are some more companies like big when we're speaking about products, and we also have service companies that are like services, the former IT outsourcing, what was called, but we believe that it is not only about providing some services on selling man hours just in a simplified model, but our service companies are really quite advanced because they have some added value mechanisms. In some cases, this added value is in human resources and project management. In some cases, it is about added value like innovation, like R&D, and like taking the risks and doing the turnkey solutions for different organizations. The biggest ones are EPAM, SoftServe, Loopsoft, Global Logic, and Cyclum. And the service segment of Ukrainian IT mainly accounts for this, the export value, which is 6.8 billion in 2021, and that actually quite a significant number. In 2022, we still have also considerable numbers, up to 7 billion, as far as I remember. So it increased, and according to the last survey of the Ukrainian IT Association, even the sector, like generally and well specifically service part, experienced growth. Despite the war, I think 9.9% per year and 16% for the first half of the 2022. And you also see that the amount of investment in VC and PE in Ukrainian tech companies is quite significant. Maybe the next one of the next speakers, Dmytro Kuzmenko, will speak more about this part. Here is the general ecosystem. We have the outsourced companies, as mentioned, e-commerce, cybersecurity, fintech, and product companies. And at this particular moment, cybersecurity is developing really fast because, as you probably know, the hybrid manner of the war implies some efforts in the cybersecurity, and we show good results here, like really astonishing ones for the rest of the world, because we are not only successfully defend ourselves against the Russian cyber attacks, but we are also doing our own operations, and they prove to be more successful, and with a lot of websites being taken down, with a lot of information being taken from the Russian websites of different security levels. Also, as you probably know, we have 2 types of also public initiatives, IT Army and Internet Army. Speaking about IT Army, I think there are around 200,000 people joining in the Telegram channel. These are usual normal tech professionals that are dedicating their time in helping with this cyber operations. And Internet Army is more about content spreading and information spreading. So there is these activities are managed by the Ministry of Digital Transformation and also other stakeholders that took the lead in these areas, and it proves to be successful. Not a lot of insights are to be shared right now, but I think after the war there will be quite a bit of different practical information about not only how to attack but also how to defend and identify vulnerabilities that will help to make the European and also the international democratic space a safer place also in the cyber area, in the cyberspace. Speaking about global also outreach, it's also important to mention that our service companies are servicing more than 100 companies from the Fortune 500 list, and among them are such companies as Thomas Cook, as Adobe, as Hotels.com, as SAP, NASDAQ, Amazon, Volvo, Microsoft, SAS, and ING, and more, not mentioned here, but still the list is impressive. Also speaking about our R&D capacities, like the whole situation and the whole potential and the whole power of Ukrainian tech sector didn't emerge just several years ago. Of course, it has also deep historic roots, and Ukrainians were involved into computer science long before it became a mainstream. So we had our research institutes already active in in the middle of the previous century, with one of the first computers in Europe introduced in 1951 in Kyiv. Also, we were involved in the creation of the semiconductors and different computers, processors, and as you probably know, also we're quite good in aircraft building, like Veremeeva, the world's largest airplane was also created here in Ukraine. And also thanks to these roots, and also thanks to their probably potential and knowledge base of Ukrainian engineers, we have more than 100 R&D labs of global companies here in Ukraine, and among them you see the logos of Ring, Huawei, Upwork, Boeing, Snapchat, Ericsson, Samsung, Oracle, Playtika, Magento, Siemens, etc. I personally was in the Samsung R&D center, and I would tell you that it is not just like software developers sitting there doing some simple jobs, but I was asked to just to cover all my cameras, because they were doing some innovative projects there, and that was strictly confidential. So the level of R&D in Ukraine is of quite high level, and that was also my personal impression. Also, some of the startups from Ukraine were bought by technological giants, like Ring was bought by Amazon, Doodle was bought by Google, Luxury was bought by Snapchat, etc. You see here also some logos, and these are the Ukrainian innovation that was interesting for international companies. So we call Ukrainian tech, one of the pillars of Ukrainian resistance and our hope for the future, for quite a number of reasons. First of all, this is really one of the resilient sectors. And these are the slides that we prepared together with the SET University, like the educational institution that is currently fundraising to launch the private university for the high-level specialists. So together with them, we gathered some numbers. And here, we can see that half of the export was accounting for tech sector, and that was from the export revenue during the wartime. Like here, like the 28% was the number of the first 5 months. I have different numbers in the end, so 16%, but they were probably calculated in different ways. Still, the sector shows growth. If you are speaking about different financial results of tech companies compared to previous years, so we see that some of them, the majority has the increase in revenue. 26% had decrease in revenue, but still some revenue is there, and for 9% things didn't change. So we are showing really that we are stable and able to work even in such changing conditions, even in such complicated surroundings. And that means that in any unpredictable situation, you can count on Ukrainian IT and Ukrainian developers, be them outsourcing companies or startups or product companies. We're still there to do our job. So this is something that I also have covered. So we have Ukrainian unicorns, we have some companies on track of the unicorns, and quite a number of other companies that are successful. We also have this list of opportunities published by the Ministry of Digital Transformation about the startups and the focus of the startups that are interesting for Ukrainian space, for Ukrainian opportunities and challenges. So and here we are welcoming, of course, Ukrainian startups to do development in these areas, investors to invest in the startups that are active in these areas, and also international startups and international product companies also to enter Ukrainian space and help solve these challenges with their own solutions. So we have here the construction tech, logistics tech, food tech and ag tech, ed tech, digital health, social and employment, fintech, energy and sustainability, and military tech and cybersecurity. And from my experience, I would say that currently a very big attention is being put on military tech and cybersecurity solutions, because the war is still in the active phase, and we need all the technology that we can get hold of in order to save more lives and in order to win this war with minimum damage, as the minimum possible, I would say. Because of course, if we are choosing between people's lives or destruction of a drone, so of course even the technology is still a cheaper solution than people's lives. So this is really very important. But from the other areas and challenges that Ukrainian space will be facing will be the ag tech, and especially some solutions in demining of vast territories, and maybe some independent and automated agriculture, because if there are mines on the fields, maybe robotics can help us solve this problem. And a lot of other solutions in construction. There will be a lot of needs in different technological solutions in energy, also very critical, because now I think everybody realized how important it is to not to really put too much focus on oil and gas, but develop some more sustainable energy solutions. So this will be a focus, I think, not only for Ukraine but also for the whole European space. Digital health, of course, is very important because there is the need in bionics and different things for recovery of those that were affected by the war, and also mental health, really very important, because the trauma that we are getting will need some specific approach and quickest recovery, so that we don't keep it for the future, for the next generations. So and more, of course, logistics, volunteer help, etc. So really a lot of work here to be done, and Ukrainian companies are doing quite a lot in all these areas. We have a number of different initiatives and innovations in all these areas. You can have a closer look at this. There are some different activities and different also reports being prepared at the moment. And also I'm inviting those that are not Ukrainian startups still to come and see what we can do together. I already mentioned. Yes, I'm just finishing. This is the last slide. So speaking about Dear City, I already mentioned. I will not go in details about this. I would only say that Ukraine is really very competitive in terms of taxes and in terms of conditions. There are quite a number of reasons to invest in Ukrainian tech companies, like proven ability to withstand the crisis and learn-term business relationships, and well-developed existing investor base, and a lot of other things, but I already mentioned a lot of them. So I will skip the slide about Tech Ukraine. So the last one is, so everything is techable with Ukraine. So I'm inviting you to experience the freedom of creation together with other Ukrainians and do something amazing together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Natalia. It's amazing. Actually, as I told before, you are one of my favorite speakers in the ecosystem, and it's really profound, really great statistics, really valuable. And I wanted to have a short introduction of Pavlo, because it's time to give him a speech, as Pavlo has to go. So Pavlo, introduce yourself and please go ahead. He has a really great idea. We discussed it together, how we can create this corporates to invite corporates to test and pilot in Ukraine. And I think probably it's time to present this idea. So Pavlo, don't be shy, please introduce yourself, your great experience in corporate world, your experience in innovation, because it's a really remarkable person of Ukrainian ecosystem.
Thank you so much, Elena. Thank you so much, Natalia, for great introduction of the tech system. I will not spend much time introducing myself. I'll just say that I'm more than 20 years in the corporate world, and the last 6 years or even more focused on the corporate innovations, employee-driven innovations, sustainable innovations areas. So that's why I'm the one who I think can talk a little bit about the models of collaboration, co-creation, co-prototyping, and co-testing. And I will immediately switch to slides. I do have few of them just to brief an idea, to give an idea what idea we used to talk about with Elena some time ago. So we're talking about the approach to a new Ukraine. Ukraine as a global sandbox for the sustainable innovations, for co-prototyping, co-experimentation, co-scaling between corporations, startups, states, and academia. Actually, answer to the question why it is so, why Ukraine, it's obvious from one perspective, and from another one it requires certain explanation. So Ukraine is destroyed, and scale of destroy is increasing each second. Current estimations of the damage is exceeding $700 billion, and but this is only direct damages, but indirect would lead us, I think, to the $1 trillion of damage. But this damage also means investment opportunities, and opportunities to or money needed to recover for the country. Thinking about the approaches, we could imagine many of them, but let's stop on two philosophical approaches. One is about rebuilding, and which many officials and majority of people are talking about, like rebuilding, meaning that let's take ready-to-use proved solutions and just donate to Ukraine, give to Ukraine, and it will help them. In a short term, definitely yes, and it's as the metaphor here is to give a fish, like hungry person receive a fish, it's fantastic, it can, the person can feed himself and his family, but tomorrow he needs another fish, and day after tomorrow another fish. etc. So this is not sustainable. Here we're not talking about investments, we're talking about spends. And we're not talking about, unfortunately, innovative solutions, sustainable solutions. We're talking about the old, outdated solutions, proved solutions, which is great, which used to work, but not necessary that they will be working well for Ukraine now. And the big question, whether they will be working well for Ukrainian, for the competitiveness of Ukraine in the future after the war. So Ukraine can have and strengthen its place in the family of European countries. I'm more focused on the reborn, or a new Ukraine approach, an approach when we're asking for the fish hook, for the fish stick, for the ability, for the building of capabilities to have own fish each time, each day, and for the sustainable long-term effect for the country. And here I'm talking about the co-creation of solutions, of sustainable innovative solutions for Ukraine, which will be based on the actual insights and will be co-created by all that strong capabilities, which was perfectly presented by Natalia a couple of minutes ago, empowered with the scaling competencies of the global corporations and Ukrainian corporations as partners in this story, and also empowered from the financial institutions, global financial institutions, because we are talking about a lot of directions and a lot of funding required, even for co-prototyping, co-testing, and I'm not even talking about the scaling. Definitely, in reality, Ukraine requiring both approaches together, for sure, because we do need short-term results with some ready-to-use solutions. We need tanks today. We don't have a time to build brand new Leopard version 5 in Ukraine. We need to go and fight each second, yeah. But on the other hand, strategically, we need to build capabilities to demine in our territories, to win in agriculture, transportation, and many other areas, including tech, of course, as well. And tech, I'm not saying, I will not saying about tech, I'm see it as an integral part of all the elements and the sectors of economy. We keep innovating during the war. We do have thousands of brilliant solutions triggered by the war, which already prove themselves, as we did before the war. And previously, we've seen dozens of the prominent bright logos from the tech sector and a few things from the real sector from my side right now. So we are capable to innovate, and we have a huge historical heritage to do so. And recent successes are there as well, and our capability to do so here as well. But on the other hand, we also proved ourselves as a sandbox, as an area for experimentation, let's say so. And I will not give many examples, just one of the illustrations related to the clinical trials with one of the biggest clinical trials markets in the world, and many other areas like that just confirm this statement that we are proved sandbox lab or co-creation, let's say, partner and co-testing partner on the scale. Taking all of this into consideration, I tried to put together a very simple, super simplified model where Ukraine, international investors and donors, and international corporations and startups can collaborate and receive synergy effect, having the large-scale sustainable innovation solutions in the middle, in between. So generate such kind of solutions for the interest of all parties. What Ukraine do have right now, and why Ukraine? Ukraine have and can offer the fantastic playground and the scale. Yes, we understand that the scale of renovation is amazing. So everything created, all new solutions created, co-created, co-innovated in Ukraine and with Ukraine will have and already do have immediate huge scaling potential, because entire country needs to be rebuilt. We're talking about $100 billion scale for the new solutions. We have low cost offering because with the highly talented people and with the technological and industrial partners who are ready to do it together with you, with startups and international corporations, which significantly decrease time of future scaling. And we do have real and urgent challenges, which you can touch every day in military defense spheres, in agro, transportation, medical, medicine, and in all areas. Energy, of course, you can imagine. What global investors and donors can give us and what they can get. They can share the cost with us for prototyping and maybe even for scaling. They will take care that or ensure that these solutions will have an SDG impact, so Sustainable Development Goals impact. It means that the same solutions will have more chances for global scaling later, not only in Ukraine. So capitalization of the solutions will be not only Ukraine. So we're talking about the scale in Ukraine, but not only, we're talking about global scale potential. And of course, through these activities, they will fulfill their own purpose and yeah, they will just fulfill their own purpose. International corporations and startups can give co-prototype and co-experimentation abilities together with their expertise and future scaling, and together with some starting resources, and they would get a benefit out of this, that everything will be co-created with their participation. They also will participate in scaling, so they will make money with that. And Ukraine, in this case, will receive sustainable, affordable, innovative, and actual solutions. And what is very important, last but definitely not least in this list, is capabilities. Ukraine is looking for innovative capabilities development. So we don't need a fish only. We're looking for capabilities for fishing in the long run. And just for illustration, if you imagine such kind of a challenge, for example, like mobile or micro nuclear energy generation, if you think about this challenge, if you think about this idea, which place in the world you imagine in or associate it in your imagination, first of all, for this kind of activities? It was a question. It looks like a very theoretical one. In my case, I would answer this question if as soon there is a silence. This is Ukraine. This is Ukraine, and we do have a place in the country which is the place of the biggest technological catastrophe disaster in the world, in the Chernobyl power plant. And we do have capabilities in energy and nuclear energy sector, and we have nothing to lose, in a simplified words. So I think, having all this into consideration, that Ukraine is the best and the rightest place in the earth to co-experiment and to reinvent, for example, safe, mobile, compact, micro nuclear generation solutions, which will be working for not for Ukraine only, but for the entire world. Thank you so much for your attention. That's it. I hope I was in timing. Alexander, you're raising your hand, and not only David as well. I have 2 minutes to answer.
Applause. It's applause to you, Pavlo.
Okay. It's really, passionate speech. I mean, really emotional. Do you have times for question, or you should run?
2 minutes, as I said. Next meeting is at
Guys,
11:45.
if anyone has questions, we can make a pause here and make a David, do you want to comment something maybe?
I really liked what you're saying, Pavlo, because and I appreciate this meeting in general about how to get in touch with Ukraine, how to help Ukraine, how to be involved in the success story of your wonderful country and the very talented and bright people that I know are there, not only in this meeting, but from projects I've delivered in Kyiv. So it's just great to be a part of this meeting.
Thank you. You're always welcome.
Thank you so much. Looking forward for networking, socializing, answering questions, discussing opportunities together. You can find me easily with LinkedIn. Dmitry, yes, please.
Yeah, I have a short question. let's catch up in Kiev for some coffee.
Oh, yeah, we can.
Yes.
With pleasure.
I haven't seen you for ages actually, so I'd like to meet you.
Looking forward
Yeah,
for the
great.
opportunity for that.
Right.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here, and I'm ready to put my time, efforts, abilities to support such kind of an initiatives and stay in touch and collaborate, co-create with you together, guys. Sorry, I have to leave, jump to another meeting. Have a great continuation of the story.
Thank you again.
care.
We will
Take
be
care.
in touch, Pavlo.
Cheers.
So I think it was really great overview of what's happening, what we can do, how startups can help recover Ukraine, what they can do. And thanks again to Natalia and Pavlo. So guys, now we can have more interactive session if you want. If you don't have questions, then I will pass the floor to Dmytro Kuzmenko, the person who knows everything about investments, money, fundraising, everything that we have going on. He's the CEO of Ukrainian Venture Capital Association, and he travels the world to promote Ukrainian startup. Dmytro, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. I'm afraid my speech won't be such enthusiastic as Pavlo's speech, but I will try to give more numbers and give more facts. Let me share my screen. Can you see it? Yeah, everything is okay?
Yes, from my
Yeah,
side.
great. So, as Elena said, I represent the Ukrainian Venture Capital Private Equity Association. On this slide, you can see what are we and what are we doing. Actually, long story short, we are kind of umbrella organization about the entire Ukrainian investment and tech ecosystem. We support, we protect, we educate, and we manage to earn money, and we manage to make some new proposals for Ukrainian investment market to raise money, to earn money. Here, more information about us. Our key projects actually during the war are industry research. We are working on it. Investors Club still works. Fund of Funds. This initiative is the biggest challenge for us, but we are working on it. And this presentation I am presenting to you is dedicated to this initiative, and it was presented yesterday at the meeting in Luxembourg. Ukrainian Pavilion at CES. I have been in Las Vegas this January, and this year our tech ecosystem delegation was, I don't know, the successful one. We faced a huge number of support, of interest, and I believe we will proceed in this matter. Ukraine House Davos, as always, and our annual Private Equity Venture Capital Summit. We had to postpone this initiative due to the war, but I believe this year we will manage to hold this event in Ukraine or in Poland, whatever. I believe Elena will help us. Let's move on. According to our last year research, you can see the numbers of Ukrainian investment ecosystem. You can see the biggest number and the growth rate from 2014 to 2021. It's obvious that during the war, this number decreased, but not so much. We're working on this number, and I would say it's almost equal to 2019, or a little bit lower. Following the Natalia's speech, actually we have 7 unicorns in Ukraine, GitLab, Grammarly, People AI, Firefly, BitFury, and 2 more unicorns during the war, Airslate and Unstoppable Domains. They closed their last rounds this summer, and they are officially unicorns. 4 more startups, I wouldn't say startups, 4 more companies are raising their final rounds to be considered as unicorns: Ajax, Genesis, Soserve, and Reply. So I would say that this fact that 2 Ukrainian startups became unicorns during the war, it's the greatest sign of Ukrainian resilience and perseverance. Regarding the investment ecosystem, here you can see funds, global funds, Ukrainian funds, working in Ukrainian investment field, in Ukrainian investment ecosystem. And now you see the biggest deals where Ukrainian and international funds took part. For now, we have at least a dozen Ukrainian funds raising money, raising funds for future activity, starting from ventures capital, digital future, JAR Capital successfully operating in Europe. A few newcomers, a few newbies, for example, ZAS Ventures and Ryzhii, 3X Capital guys from Legal Tech Accelerator, they are working on raising their first fund. And of course, we have several private equity funds working in Ukraine, or I would say working for Ukraine, or based in Ukraine. I mean, Diligent Capital Partners, Horizon Capital, Ukrainian funds, and I hope all of you heard about this. BlackRock established new fund dedicated to Ukraine after war recovery, after war. And right here, I would like to admire the Pavlo's speech in terms of his approach: rebuild or recreate, rebuild or restore. I hope we will have all these approaches here in Ukraine, because we are really a great sandbox for future technologies, for future recovery approaches. Let's move on. And now you see the number of Ukrainian funds still working in Ukraine. We didn't stop at all. As you can see, there are 14 of them. SID Ventures, not all of them are Ukrainian. I mean, number 1, Accelerator Ventures, they are from Netherlands, but they are UVCA members for now. But almost all of them, SID Ventures, Flight One, TA, Adventures Lab, SMRK, almost all of them are either Ukrainian funds or headquartered in Ukraine and working with Ukrainian startups, working with Ukrainian entrepreneurs. No, let's stop here. And in addition to this list of funds, we have, as my colleagues said, we have a number of opportunities for collaboration, for collaboration in terms of attracting Ukrainian entrepreneurs and Ukrainian startups in some kind of collaboration, co-investment opportunities. There are a number of funds and platforms in Europe working with Ukrainian co-investors. But a few days ago, we did some kind of survey, private survey with my colleagues from several family offices. We tried to calculate, we tried to consider the number of money hidden under the mattresses, you know, Ukrainian hidden money. I mean, money of business angels, money of newcomers in the investments, money of retail investors, because unlike the big funds who mostly postponed their activity here in Ukraine, Ukrainian retail investors, business angels, and some pre-seed funds, they are growing the number of their deals, they are growing the number of funds, the number of money working, the amount of working capital. And according to our survey, there are at least $50 billion under mattresses. Why? Yeah. Why do I?
Finance, you know, mattresses.
Yeah. You know, it's our, I would say it's a sign of our mentality, maybe, because we do not trust banks. We do not trust to some, I don't know, financial institutions, but we trust in almighty dollar. And we get used to pile up dollars under mattresses or in some kind of private banks, private deposit cells. But for now, we are working with my colleagues in the field or in the direction of attracting this money and making this money work for Ukrainian small and medium businesses. So in this case, we will have pretty good possibility to attract additional money without additional requests to international colleagues, to international institutional funds, give us more money. But in this case, the only thing we will need partnerships with European and global colleagues in order to co-invest, because most of our business angels need more education, need more knowledge, need best practices. And in this case, I believe we can maintain this process under our observation, under our control. And in this case, we will have the success case. To wrap up my speech, Ukrainian investment ecosystem is not dead, not at all. Ukrainian investment ecosystem is actually operating, but there are some decreases in numbers, but we are operating. We're looking for new opportunities, for new possibilities, for new ways of cooperation. If it's obvious that no one of European or global investors or investment funds, no one of them will invest in a country in the war. It's obvious, but we have several ways to decrease risks. We have several solutions to establish partnerships and attract investments into Ukrainian startups, into Ukrainian businesses, startups, scale-ups, whatever. Without these additional risks, dedicated to war, related to the war. So we know how to do it, and we know how to save these investments from war risks. And in all other aspects, Ukrainian ecosystem is growing up. Ukrainian tech ecosystem is showing great results. And now, following the Pavlo's speech, and now Ukraine is actually a great sandbox and the experimental playground for testing some technologies. I mean, defense technologies, miltech, biohacking, e-health, and so on and so forth. It's a great opportunity. So the only thing we need, partnership, your willingness to invest money in Ukraine, in Ukrainian businesses, and everything else, we will take care of it. So let's collaborate, and let's keep in touch. Ukrainians, as I said during our transmission in the United States, Ukrainians are strong, resilient, and they always have their ace in their pocket. So that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Dmytro. I think we have a lot to discuss, behind
Yeah,
the
for
scenes,
sure.
because I have good Ukrainian anecdote about this, that in theory we are all millionaires, but in reality, I mean, I'll remind you what it is.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
So, guys, speaking about what's happening. So basically we invited Nataly Veremeeva, who gave overview in numbers of Ukrainian ecosystem. Then Pavlo Ryzhii explained actually how you can use Ukraine as a piloting scene for startups, basically how you can utilize this area, country, people, and why it's a great market. Then Dmytro actually taught us about my fundraise or plans to fundraise and everything about investments. And now I will give a word to Alexander Romanishyn, who will give some kind of overview from the state point of view, what Ukraine is, where is digitalization, what are opportunities, what opportunities for recovery, why you can join recovery progress and benefit from it. So basically it's now, again, Ukrainian ecosystem, but from another angle. So please, Alexander, I'm welcoming you. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Elena, for the invitations, and it's really my pleasure to be here and to share with you some guidance about reconstructions and what we want to achieve from the state point of view. But it's not only from the state point of view, it's include also civil societies, all key players and opinion leaders like Natalia, like Dmytro, and many other colleagues who contribute in the recovery on ongoing process. Yeah, and it's really difficult to speak as a last speaker because a lot of things already mentioned. So I'm reshaped a bit my messages during these sessions, and I'm going to share with you some maybe kind of ideas, insight from. So just yeah, is my screen is open?
Yes, you are showing it. You can show full screen. There is a button behind. In the bottom, you can place it. Full screen. Make it full screen.
Make it full screen.
In the bottom of PPT presentation.
Okay. I forgot how to do it.
In the bottom, view.
Okay. So yeah, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
So well, just a little bit about vision, and so Ukraine is security for Europe. in different perspectives. So we are now experiencing the war from different angles. So it's not only about physical war, it's about information war, it's about propaganda, it's about cybersecurity war. And in terms of that, we demonstrate the resilience and we demonstrate how technology helps us to overcome all problems which we have. So another angles, we are going to build green digital competitive economy. So we definitely have a lot of R&D centers and many EU supply chains integrated in Ukraine. So we already working with EU and according to EU standards, and it's easy for any startups who want to join Ukrainian ecosystem to pilot on totally completely understandable principles and platform. So, and as of now, we have a huge amount of damages, and we plan to rebuild it from the scratch and to create convenient infrastructure. So we will have kind of a chance to build something without legacy and meets EU standards. It's also a good sign for any EU counterparts who would like to join. Energy security is well one of the priority, clean and safe environment, high quality of life. And this not maybe related to startup directly, but health, social protection, human rights, all startups which are related to this area is also can be founded, and we call it like impact startups. So more and more VC funds created with impact components, and there's a good chance for you guys who develop startup with impact components to join and to pilot in this area as well, like education, science, and culture, which also is a part of impact, is also part of impact movements, right? So, and it's kind of basic recovery principles on which all stakeholders put efforts together to rebuild Ukraine, and all of them in compliance with the EU criteria and OECD principles. And who knows this, it's kind of quite high quality standards for market economy. And just to ensure you that many other countries already participated in recovery and corporates as well. So many countries take some regions and just put efforts, money, and do transfer of technologies to Ukraine. And for you, for startups, it's a great chance just to find your corporates who already go into Ukrainian market and propose something new, to some solutions which can be the part of technology transfer to Ukraine together with the corporate who already established the business or some activities in Ukraine. So you see the kind of map with all of these activities, right, Dnipropetrovsk, Czech, and so, and it's a situations status updates on the middle of the last year. So now more and more countries joined different regions with some quite great, amazing projects. And most of them are very on advanced level of technology. So our aim is just to create the best of the best, to bring the best technology to Ukraine. And sorry. And if you back to poor digital, poor tech ecosystem, we have one of the stream among 24 working groups in Ukraine who create a digital recovery plan. It's quite precise plan for the next 3, 5, and 10 years. And I would like just to highlight some directions which could be interesting for you in terms of development your solutions. And I will skip the slides about situation with the war because all amazing speakers already did it. And I just would like to give you some idea and directions, and how to say it's kind of source for food for thoughts in which direction you can develop your startups. So we have goals up to 2025. And we want that the share of ICT sector in the structure of Ukrainian GDP will be up to 10%. So right now it's around 5-6%. So we are going to double this number. As of now, Ukraine, one of the biggest countries in terms of digitalized public services. It's over 10% of public services are already digitalized. And we are going to digitalize up to 100%. It's quite possible and feasible to do. And in terms of infrastructure, digital infrastructure, so we definitely have good coverage. Right now, we have coverage. Before the war, we had a coverage of almost 90% of all countries. And so now is the idea that we want to cover all regions by mobile internet 5G with a speed of 1 gigabyte per second. So it's also quite realistic. And maybe you know, so during this war time, Ukraine has the biggest number of Starlinks. And so we are totally connected and every startups can work from anywhere. So yeah, and it's kind of very brief. I see that we are over the time, so I just tried to give you some flash and highlights where Ukraine is going, and I will be happy to answer for any questions you may have. But before I leave, I would like to share with you some useful source which you can look at your desktop or at on mobile. So I would like to share with you two sources. One of them is the kind of investor books, which actually prepared by UVCA, and it's a book with all contact details and personalities who are in Ukrainian ecosystem, VC funds, which Dmytro mentions, accelerators, other partners. The first one link, and the second link, it's a ecosystem 260, which is a kind of database of startups, providers, everything you would like to see with a good interface, good UX. It's created by Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine as well. So feel free to use it, and maybe to earlier your startup will be the residence of the dear city, which Nataly mentioned, with a good and quite competitive conditions to be there and to work in Ukraine. So welcome, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander. Thank you all for your profound review. You guys put no. I see you put in your hearts. You do it on screen, then our people can see it. Chat will be disappeared after video. Put it here. So thank you all speakers for what you've done today, explaining ecosystem and how it keeps work and everything. And the session is recorded, and it will be, you will have the links, it's in our YouTube, and you can share it with whomever. You can reuse statistics, you can invite more people. And a brief intro what we expect next. Next Thursday, we can speak about, we have 3 speakers, 3 guests from Hungarian, Polish, and Czech ecosystems. And they will give overview on this market, so Eastern Europe. If you are interested, please welcome to join, to listen and see what are the opportunities. The idea now that we are in this program sharing opportunities with all markets and trying to build connections, to know each other personally, to speak personally, and know how we can enter each market, what difficulties, what barriers, what opportunities each market can offer. So please, if you are interested, don't hesitate to join us next Thursday, 11 Central European time, 12 Kyiv time. So if you have any questions, Q&As, please don't hesitate, raise your hand now. Does anyone want to comment on this? Oh, David, please, go ahead.
Thanks, Elena. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the presentations, and I really love the content. Of course, I'm not an investor. I have a software company, and what I'm really interested in is getting in touch with other Ukrainian companies for potentially partnerships, just to feel connected to Ukraine, to be part of the success story. I believe that it will be a really big success story in the future, and not only getting an emotional payoff now to support the country that's fighting for our freedom, they're fighting for democracy and the rule of law in Europe, but I think it'll pay off, in business in the future as well. So, you have any tips for me how we can do that, or I can do that?
So actually, you have direct connections. We will connect you with whomever you want. We are happy to have you back to Ukraine from Czech Republic and help to set up your company here. Any of us? Yes, Dmytro.
Just a quick comment. There is an initiative we're working on. It's called One Person Pledge. My colleague and our chairman of the board is working on this initiative in Belgium. The main philosophy of this initiative and the entire our approach about the global money is simple. We are not asking for donations. We are asking for investments. We don't want your money just to be given to us. We want this money given to us and returned back with a profit. So we're talking about co-investments and joint initiatives. So be my guest, we have a direct contact. So let's discuss it.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I had one in the chat. Maybe that's relevant for others as well. It's about the challenges of companies entering the Ukrainian market, because we heard such a good things. I was wondering maybe there are any challenges, besides the war itself. So maybe cultural, or there was some question about the currency. So what do you see? What are the current challenges of the ecosystem?
I would say that culturally it's very easy, because Ukraine is somehow it happened so it's very integrated with American culture and American ecosystem, more integrated with American ecosystems than any other Eastern European country. And that's why we easily raise fundraising actually from Silicon Valley. And we have all of the funds of United States present in Ukraine. So culturally it's easy. You just need to speak a little bit English and it's enough. I mean, you don't have to speak Ukrainian or Russian or whatever. And most Ukrainians in our industry can understand you, so it's not a trouble. And actually to set up a business technically it's quite easy, because you can do it even in India on a distance now, so it's not a trouble. The main, yes, regarding currency exchange, there are some restrictions, but they are temporal, because we are fighting devaluation and it's just temporal difficulties. It's not that trouble like in long run. So overall, I don't know what guys are the difficulties. I would say the main difficulties are our neighbors from the east part. So that's the only one. Before, part of them, we had a perfect life,
Yeah, I want to make
Nataly,
a short comment here. Yes, indeed, I think that the key challenge and the key difficulty is indeed, as Elena mentioned, the invasion challenges, and of course, when you're making a decision about entering a country, you're evaluating risks and opportunities, and if opportunities are higher, so that you are taking the risks. This is usually how it works. But generally, of course, every country has its specifics and its ways of doing things. And yes, if you are entering a new country, it's advisable for you to be more or less understanding, of course, how to use DIA, for example, or how to about local legislation. So I just don't know what for which purpose do you want to enter the market, be it investment or opening your business, or be it some other kinds of partnerships. I would really recommend also to find some local partners that will be able to help you with this or that areas. For example, you can search for the legal company that can provide you with some legal assistance, some accounting company for providing accounting assistance, some, I don't know, ecosystem inside like Dmytro, for example, or like us at Tech Ukraine, that could give you some ideas about different communities, about different ways how to do things, about different organizations existing in the ecosystem. So like the main challenge, I would say, is to get acquainted about with the ecosystem as such, its key players, like business rules, which are really getting closer and closer to the ones of the European Union, but still, like as in any country, they might be a little bit different. So for this reason, like we're doing like the full-scale integrations, and we are really happy about that. But still, like I think it is advisable for you to really have some Ukrainian that is knowledgeable about the market and is aware about how things are like organized and what opportunities do you have. So I would say that that could help you and ease the process. And like it can be both like different organizations. And I know that UVCA, for example, is offering for investors the co-investing opportunities, so that like the local Ukrainian investors are also helping international investors making the right choices and even sharing the risks in these investments, which is also a great approach if you are thinking about investment to do such things in combination with other partners.
Thank you for such profound answer. Indeed, I think that in the last 10 years, many things in bureaucratic-wise and taxation-wise in Ukraine were simplified, and digitalization helped a lot to run business. So it's really convenient, as I said. If we wouldn't have the situation with invasion, I think it will just go up. You know?
Elena, and I would say, and the process is ongoing. Still, like there is a lot to improve always. Like there are some certain successes, and there is still a lot of work to do. But we're not alone here. I think that like when I was traveling also to European Union and I was speaking to people, I know that all the countries are actually constantly working on improving their processes in order also to embrace innovation, because this is something that is happening to us like really recently. So this is like all the changes and transformations are all the time ongoing, and we're seeing even some kind of a slight competition in terms of making these processes as smooth as possible and to remove the bureaucracy which is present everywhere.
Thank you. So I think we can wrap up our session on this positive mode, and I will switch off recording and make some anecdotes that I promised. So for Ukrainian. So guys, thank you for being with us today. Thank you, brilliant speakers. Thank you for emotional and dedicated speeches. And if you are interested, you are welcome to see us next Thursday at 11 Central European Time and 12 in Kiev. And the Thursday, 9th of March, we also will have a great session with Revolut and EBRD, and there will be 3 Ukrainians speaking. I will moderate this session, but one founder of Revolut will tell how they managed to scale up, because I mean, it's really great story with the Ukrainian founder present, and Ukrainian investment director, investment manager from EBRD will also tell how they invest in Ukraine. So thank you, startups who were listening to us. You guys welcome to sign up. IC Corporate Accelerator, Wolf Summit, and we all can see each other physically and have a party in Wolf Summit in Wrocław. Don't forget, if you are interested, please go ahead. All speakers and all startups are invited. So thank you. Bye-bye. I'm switching off video, but I will tell some fun things. Bye-bye. Switching off.
Thanks everyone for your attention and participation. Bye. Thanks, Elena.